right, we're back at it again. We're doing illusion spells for wizard. We each pick 5 spells.
Not necessarily the best spells, but the best spells for us, the ones that we really enjoy. You know, we look at different things of like what they actually do, how they've been used in our games, how often they come up, and, you know, how iconic are they? Throughout how many of the editions have these spells existed?
You know, we like those things that have seriously impacted our games, and we try to select spells that, you know, run the whole gamut of tiers of play so that regardless of where you're playing, you've got some spells that you're going to be able to use. I'm Nerdus Ted.
And I'm Nerdus Dave.
Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds.
So what do you got on your list?
All right, so we're talking about illusion. I think the most iconic spell, that an illusionist is going to do is going to be invisibility. The "you don't see me." Whether you're talking about regular invisibility or greater invisibility, I feel it's lumped into that. You know, that same concept, and it's just great. It's used all the time. And it's done to so many things. It can allow you to scout. It can allow you to observe a conversation. It can allow you to just be like, all right, I'm going to get out of Dodge, and you don't know where I'm at.
I mean, it's so iconic, just for fantasy in general. The Ring of Power, you know, Frodo and Bilbo use it to disappear and become invisible. Mm-hmm. Even the D&D cartoon, Sheila has the Cloak of Invisibility, pull the hood up. You know, it's just been there.
Yeah, and for that, I had to put that as just the first one to talk about.
What's up next?
The next one is a spell that I don't think that many people would think of when they think illusion. I don't think a lot of people jump immediately to dream. But I adore this spell. I've used it as a DM many times. I've seen it used in play many times for communication, for divination. I've seen it used...
For messing with people.
For messing with people. And I've literally seen it used in-game to communicate with a beholder, which caused that... Well, not a beholder, but a spectator, which caused that spectator to then reproduce and make some gazers. So the fact that beholders have the lore of creating new beholders when they dream, having them contacted via a dream spell, force them, that offspring to happen. And for that, I thought, like, holy crap, this is just absolutely amazing. I adore the spell.
I find it less amazing. That does not sound consensual at all on the spectator's part. Rip poor spectator's consent.
Well, the spectator was he was bound to the ship we were serving on, and he was with the crew that were being held hostage. So we were trying to communicate to ascertain where they were located. So, like, it was an ally spectator. It wasn't like a bad guy or any of that kind of stuff. And it was one of those things of like, all right, well, maybe we can get some more clues. Maybe we can let them know that we're, orienting on their position. So
does that make the caster of the spell the daddy? Or the mommy, maybe? I don't know. What's your next one?
It was... We'll leave that alone from there. The next one is going to be Simulacrum. And this is another one that's not quite, is this an illusion or what have you. I've used this in my game. I had an evil wizard who just wanted to mess with the adventuring party. So it lured them into a trap, donned some cursed magic items, and allowed itself to be defeated so that they would then, like, oh, I'll get all these cool things, and they put them on, and, the curses take effect. It was fun. It didn't have a lasting impact, but I wasn't expecting it to.
Yeah. Lucky also had a simulacrum follow him around as well.
And then in that previously mentioned, game where we used the dream spell, the one wizard in that party did make a simulacrum. So we had 2 powerful wizards, walking side by side. And unfortunately, the ancient red dragon that just whooped our asses defeated the simulacrum. So that one's gone.
Well, rip. But he can make another.
He certainly can. All right, the next one up, we finally get something that says the word illusion in it, and that's Illusionary Dragon. And this is a really cool, another one of those somewhat higher level spell that allows you to conjure a dragon that, is able to fight. but it's an illusion, so like it has some cool effects to go along with it. But because you can conjure a dragon to help you out, it's super awesome.
And you can do illusionary breath weapon damage every round.
Indeed.
No recharge required.
Then the last one, I finally grabbed something that's super low on the list, and that's going to be minor illusion. And this is one that, you can grab right away because it's a cantrip, and you can be able to throw up these cool little minor things that happen as an illusion, tap into one sense and have some fun with it.
Yeah, you were kind of high on your list.
I did, but there's so many really cool spells and stories that I wanted to go. So like, illusion's a second, and minor illusion is a cantrip. The rest are pretty high up there, 5th level and higher. But there's just a lot of great illusion spells.
So the first spell on my list, I haven't used it personally yet, but I've seen it used in games, and I would like to do something with it at some point, and that is Shadow Blade. Offensively, for a spell, it is actually really good. It creates a spell effect that has weapon properties, so anything that would affect a weapon can affect the spell as well. If you're in dim light or darkness, you have advantage to attack. You can upcast it to do even more damage. Shadow Blade is just a really good spell. Like the only downside is its concentration, but other than that, it's awesome. You can throw it and then reconjure it.
In my untraditionally arcane game, Robin's character, Chesseline, uses a Shadow Blade, and they're a blade singer, so you combine the blade singing aspects with a Shadow Blade, and it is absolutely deadly. I've had characters that have used a Shadow Blade, here and there, mixing the martial and the magic, and it can be a little bit of fun, but it's definitely something that you want to make sure that, you are a character who's supposed to be in martial combat if you're using one of these things, because
you can always throw it 30-foot range.
You could always throw it, but it's one of those things because if not, it's concentration. So you could lose the spell and lose those hit points at the same time.
Yeah, it's also super effective if you're a rogue. So Arcane Trickster, great. It's a great spell for them.
Absolutely.
Mirror Image would pair very nicely with Shadow Blade, and it is not a concentration check, and it's just super cool. If they try and hit you, roll a d20. If you roll high enough, they hit one of the illusions instead, and that's any effect that would target you. So even like the Eyes of a Beholder Ray. They could target one of your illusion doppelgangers, but also the idea of someone wielding a shadow blade and there being like 4 images jumping around. Thematically, that just looks awesome in my mind.
I can definitely imagine like a roguelike character who's got multiple images going, and they all are holding this shadow blade, and they're all kind of like wispy shadows coming off of them. It's pretty evocative.
Next up is Disguise Self. It's a very low level spell, first level, sees a lot of use, and I don't think anything screams illusion more than Disguise Self.
Sure, it's definitely one of those iconic spells. Always being able to shapeshift to look like somebody else or to just not look like you. It's incredibly helpful.
Next up is the highest level spell on my list, which is Mislead. Mislead is awesome. You cast it, you go invisible, but you create an illusionary doppelganger of yourself. The spell lasts up to an hour, and you can also choose to see and hear through your doppelganger. So you can use it to spy, you can use it as reconnaissance, you can use it to get away, you can use it for all of those things at the same time.
It's pretty awesome. I'm not familiar with that spell. I might have to find some ways to get that involved in some games.
It is a great trickster type spell, but also it's like 5th level, so it's higher level.
Sure.
Next up, Hypnotic Pattern. I've seen that used in games time and time again. Usually me as the DM, but you can just shut down the enemies with the quickness.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen this spell, used quite a lot, and there's a number of monsters who have an ability similar to that can cause the same kind of effect.
So that is my top 5, and where you went on the higher end, I definitely went on the lower end of things.
Sure, and it's a nice mix. So we've got a lot of really great spells that are there. If you happen to like this video, others like it, as well as all the great content you can find over on Nerdarchy.com, you might want to come check us out over on Patreon and support us over there.
Articles like Study Up on 5e D&D Magic Illusion Spells.
But hey, you're looking for another way to help support Nerdarchy? Why not check out the Nerdarchy the store with some Dark Paths, Pools of Bliss. The 5th edition content in this book explores new, darker paths for adventurers to follow. Beginning down one of these dark paths leads to power, but at a perilous cost. Here's the dark face insurmountable odds and challenging decisions, whether it is worth the cost to fight against such forces by tapping into the same source of insidious influence as their terrible foes. A new establishment in the city promises fun and entertainment, the likes of which you've never experienced. The bliss tempts revelers and pleasure seekers, the ultimate prize for those who risk a roll of the dice or a deal from the deck, their greatest desires. But how much is too much? Included within is an adventure scenario for 4 5th-level characters, 3 new creatures, including the Enigmatic Dealer, 3 new subclasses, the College of Mirrors, the Order of the Peacock, and the Way of Excess, as well as 4 new magic items.
Let us know your top 5 illusion spells down in the comments below. Share them with the Nerdarchy community.
While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click on that notification bell. You know you want to.
Quick reminder, we drop new videos here on the channel several times a week, so come on back, but you can't wait till then, no worries. You can check out 5 D&D spells, Evocation, best 5 spells times 2.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.